All right, awesome. Hey, how's it going, Ryan?
Hey, it's going good. You?
I'm good. And we're going to do another episode today of the 80/20. Today's
Yeah.
topic is conversion rate optimization.
Yeah. So what's like what's the basics of conversion rate optimization?
All right, so basics, three principles. Um, Principle one is kind of wrapped up in principle three, but it's important enough that I highlight it first, is brand authority, right? Anything that suggests when you look at a website or a product that it's been professionally made by people you can trust. So maybe this is conveyed in a lot of subtle ways. It's conveyed in the design of the website, the design of the logo, the refinement, right? If I go make a logo, it's going to be, sub mediocre. It's not going to be like horrible, but you can see when something came out of Illustrator versus something came out of, even if I'm like using like a pseudo Photoshop like paint.net, you can see the refinement in a vector graphic, right? So brand authority.
So you're talking about the look, or is it like basic things that are off? Like it's off by this much pixel, like this much padding and like that stuff, or
Yeah, subconsciously it's that kind of stuff. Yeah.
oh, okay, got it.
And this also comes across in the copy of the website, by the way, as well. So
Okay,
the writing and how refined the writing is. Um, After brand authority is user flow, right? So does the website get in the way of someone who's arriving, finding what they want and checking out? So if it's putting all kinds of crap between them and the checkout, or if it's hard to navigate the homepage, if you've got a huge catalog and it's not easy to sort through it, these are all user flow problems.
hmm.
And then the third principle is certainty. So above all, what your website needs to do is build certainty of the end result of giving you money. So the product display page does most of the work here, right? That's where you're going to have your customer testimonials, your picture gallery, your video gallery, your breakdown of each of the ingredients and what they do. Maybe highlighting some ingredients you don't have if you're in one of those industries where people are trying to avoid certain things like sulfates or parabens. And finally, information about shipping, shipping speed, uh, shipping price, anything to do with the size of garments, right? Or the fit. This is how like user generated content comes in so clutch here, right? We're talking about people wearing the shirt. Oh, that person's kind of my body type, my shape, and I can see he's wearing a size small and it fits him well, so it'll fit me well. That's huge.
So from what you're saying, how much of this is it's just like getting like doing common sense stuff on the site that matches what the user expecting, and how much of it is like tactics, like oh, like if I put a button that's red here, that it will convert better. Like how much of the two is it?
Okay, so there's a few questions wrapped up there, but to start, color of button, you don't even have to think about that. Just match the button color to your brand and move on. You can change the button color to red and see this temporary bump in conversion rate, maybe, but usually it's just like a novelty thing. And then
Mm.
if you track that result over a long enough period of time, you'll see the results go back down to average. You're not going to like increase your conversion rate by continuously changing button color. It's just confusing. So
Or like an example would be
worry
like the
more
checkout
about
flow,
how the
right?
button is highlighted. That's more, see, that would be a tactic, right? But you
Mm.
could also say, oh, it's a tactic to gray out the add to cart and highlight the buy now because I know my customers are just more likely to not bundle things. So you're pushing them towards a certain action. There's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of thought that goes into this. If you take someone who is just doing PPC only, maybe pay per click advertising only, or maybe even more fringe, maybe even in a sideways industry from ours, they won't be able to look at a website and say, okay, change this, this, and this. They're more likely to just look at the website and say, hey, this needs to be improved. You need to go talk to a Shopify expert,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
So yes, it like we will always look for a set of tactics to improve the conversion rate quickly. And most people don't have the kind of traffic they need to be split testing because a split test, takes thousands and thousands and thousands of visits to statistically be sure that the change is actually relevant.
yes.
Most people don't have that. So we do A/B tests based on experience and based on like a list of tactics. But we'll draft that up custom depending on what we think is holding a particular site back.
Got it. but like you said, like sometimes like the garment size and that stuff, like that's very specific to that domain, right? So
Yeah.
like if I'm a new business owner, like what's the key things you would tell me to look out for when I'm trying to do conversion rate optimization, especially if I
Yep.
don't know much about these tactics.
Yep. So if you don't know about these tactics and you don't have necessarily an eye for design, so you don't even know if you need that redesign to raise brand authority, the number one thing you can do is go onto your product page and add more sections and more information. The more information you can get on your product on that page to make people sure this is what they are looking for and that it's going to arrive, that is the 80/20 of conversion rate optimization. Any elements you can add to the product display page, do it. Embed video from a fast, put videos of your product up on YouTube and then embed them on the page. Even if it's messy, having the video there is going to, like, raising that certainty is going to do more than upgrading the entire brand authority of your website, in my opinion, for your conversion rate.
Got it. So like, can you maybe give like maybe 3 simple tactics that people can, like, they should work across the board and like to get people started so that they know where to look for
Yep.
to learn
Yep.
more about.
Okay, so tactic 1 is huge. Go buy a content package from someone who you like their work. Okay, so there's a lot of agencies that will produce a quick content package with different influencers or different actors handling your product and showing it off. And they'll do photos and videos. Go produce that. Tactic 1. You can put that on your page. You can also use that as advertising. Nothing is going to move your product like that. Okay, tactic 2, make sure that the process after someone adds the product to cart is clear on your product page. So the sizing guide, right? That should be a pop-up. That should not take you away from the page. And that sizing guide should be built in, right, in that product display page. It's not acceptable to have that somewhere else on your website. So that plus shipping information and a shipping estimate, right? All of that should be built into that little box on your page where people, right above where people are about to click add to cart.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, I think honestly those 2 are enough, right?
Maybe
so
the third one, maybe like above the fold. Maybe explain that. Like that's a common one that not a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's a minor tactic, right? It's going to help for sure to have all of the most important information above the fold on the page, which means before you even do any scrolling, preferably on a mobile phone, by the way, you should be able to see the main picture of the product, right? You should be able to swipe through pictures. It should be like a Tinder swiper of photos. And then you should have the primary call to action there. So buy it now or add to cart. It should be right there on mobile phone. That, like, remember, 100% of people see above the fold. As soon as you scroll down a bit, you've lost 20% of people. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and there's only 13% of people who make it that deep on average. So, but I think this content package thing is probably top of your list. And then second, PDP, don't leave anything out for after service. And sure, point 3 would be design your page so that above the fold you have everything you need.
Great.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, cool.